Hello friends, welcome back. I just want to run a very simple, quick thought experiment today after yesterday's loss at Tottenham. I want you to imagine you're Ruben Amorim and it's half-time, and maybe you've put out the starting 11 you put out. Let's assume that is the case. I think maybe he should have started some of the kits, but let's say it's half-time, you're 1-0 down, you make some changes. Let's say you bring on Aiden Heaven in exchange for Dalot, and you move Mazraoui out to right wing back. So Heaven's in the back three now with De Ligt and with Harry Maguire. You leave Dorgu on the left, so that's your back five. You take Casemiro off, you put on Sekou Kone, let's say. You bring off Joshua Zirkzee and you bring on Jack Moorhouse. These are players I don't know a lot about, by the way. None of us do, I guess. Some people watch the youth. I don't myself. I hear about them through other people's videos and conversations about them. But the point is, it's not important whether I know about them. The final change you make, let's say, is to bring on Chido Obi-Martin in exchange for Rasmus Højlund up front. So you've made 4 changes. At half-time, you've got 4 debutants in the team now, 4 new players who have never played a professional game for Manchester United. The question is this: what's the worst that could have happened? Because United have been playing so terribly and getting such terrible results recently that you can't seriously have thought it was likely that that team with the 11 that started were going to come back and win. Obviously, it's possible, and you might even think it's more likely than a team including 4 new, unblooded teenagers would come back into it. But we've been so bad, you can't really seriously think it's likely. And United played better in the second half for about 8 minutes, I think. Well, it seems to happen sometimes. They sort of forget how burdened and pressured they are occasionally and just look quite good for 5 minutes here and there. But the point is, Amorim, if you imagine you were him at half-time and you made those 4 changes, what's the worst that could have happened? Maybe you lose 4-0. Maybe you lose 5-0. It could have happened anyway, but it didn't. And of course, that could be a bad thing for the kids' confidence. Probably not, because they'd just be so psyched to get their debuts, get a chance to show what they can do. I feel like that wouldn't do long-term damage to their psyches. So what's the worst that could happen if you make those changes? I don't think, if you'd lost 4 or 5-0 having made those changes, that the fan base on average would be that much more disappointed, that much more angry, that much more indignant. I feel like a lot of the fan base would have said, fair play, let's give them another run out next time. Because the players that did play and played very, very nearly the full 90 minutes have shown all season and backwards beyond for a long time that it's not going to work. It's not going well. And making those 4 changes, just as random examples, it feels like there was no real serious downside potential. Now think about, though, the potential upside. If you're Ruben Amorim, you make those changes, bring on 4 kids. The best that can happen is that Sekou Kone breaks up play in the middle of the park, puts a nice pass forward. Jack Moorhouse passes through to Chido Obi-Martin, scores, goal, equaliser. Someone scores maybe it happens. This can happen in a random one-off game, especially with a load of kids making their debut, full of adrenaline, desperate to show how good they can be, how much better than what's been going on they can be. Maybe it's just a bump, but maybe you get a win. Maybe you get some thrills, some excitement. Maybe you start something. And from a pure gambling perspective, when the potential upside so massively outweighs the potential downside and doesn't seem much more unlikely to happen, then you make that trade. You take that chance, right? That's the thought experiment I wanted to put to you all today. What was the potential downside of making those changes at halftime? And what was the potential upside? And did Amorim miscalculate the cost-benefit analysis there? Or is there something important that I'm missing? Was there some serious potential downside that I'm not understanding, not seeing? What could have gone so horribly wrong relative to what turned out to be a very disappointing result anyway? That's it. That's my question for today. Little cost-benefit analysis, a little thought experiment. I thought it was really a shower yesterday. What a terrible game and a terrible result and very, very lame. So let's hope it solidifies the necessity to start some kids in the next game at Goodison, because it just seems like a free hit. It seems like something you just can't lose with. Because if they do badly, well, we're doing badly anyway. There's no much worse that it could get that would be sufficiently worse to not do it, it seems, when the potential upside is they do well and we get a bounce and we score some goals and we look interesting and fun and dangerous and we live by the principles that made Manchester United great. Principles that I talked about in my previous video, playing youth, playing attacking football, being bold and dangerous. Those are the things we want to see, surely, especially when there's no real downside, nothing to lose. Anyhow, that's me for today. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe if you're enjoying it and leave a comment. Tell me what you think. See you in the next one.